We are back with another Wuthering Waves video. We are playing Wuthering Waves, and I'm making two separate videos. I'm making a video going over every single rerun character that's coming with this new patch, and I'm going over the weapons. I'm going to tell you their pull value. Now, this one is going to be on the characters. The characters are a little bit more account specific, but I'm going to give you a general overview, and I made a little bit of a chart, not a chart, I kind of a text document of the perfect synergistic values and things. So I just want to get right into it for you. I want to break this down in Razor language as quickly as possible. So first half, you have Jiyan, Yinlin, Zhezhi, Xiangli Yao, and Phoebe. Now, when you look at this, keep in mind, Zhezhi will be running on the first half as well, along with all of these, following weapons. Now, Zhezhi most likely is going to be a main DPS dealer, and if you really want a main DPS Spectral unit that is not Phoebe and is not Jinshi, you probably want to maybe go towards that side. We'll also get more information about Zhezhi's kit prior to her release. So just a FYI, don't go too crazy yet. Wait to see what Zhezhi's kit looks like in more depth and detail. Now, breaking this down, Jiyan's a main DPS, Yinlin's a sub, Zhezhi's a sub, Changli Yao's a main DPS who enables a lot of quick swapping potential, tons of quick swapping potential, and Phoebe is a main DPS / sub DPS who will synergize with Zhezhi. So I'm going to pull up this first little text doc here. Now, there's a bunch of spelling errors because I'm stupid and I don't know how to spell, but we're going to go over Yinlin first. So Yinlin perfectly synergizes with Xiangli Yao because of her outro skill. So right now, if I go over to Yinlin, we're going to pull her up. Where are you? And I'm so sorry. Oh my God, where am I? Am I a goofy goober?
Whatever it is, I'll play my role to the fullest.
Chad, am I a goofy goober? Sorry, okay, apologies. So Yinlin, the reason why she synergizes with Xiangli Yao / Calchero already off rip is going to be because of her outro skill. Her outro skill is going to give a 20% damage amplification buff. Now, she synergizes more with Xiangli Yao because Xiangli Yao's main damage comes from his Resonance Liberation. So the perfect character for a Xiangli Yao. If you were a Xiangli Yao main and you're looking to make him do as much damage as possible, Yinlin would be there because of the electro damage and the Resonance Liberation buff that she will be giving, right? Calchero is still going to get the electro damage amplification, but I don't think a lot of his kit includes Resonance Liberation. Now, the reason Yinlin synergizes with Jinshi is because of this Forte circuit. She provides coordinated attacks. I believe it's 18 to 17 coordinated attacks, so 1 per second through her Forte, and that is what you need to obviously build up Jinshi's incandescence, right? So when you keep that in mind, Yinlin's pull value seems really, really solid, but to be very transparent, and obviously, again, everything is a per account basis, and I'll be live Monday, 5 p.m. to go over people's accounts with help. Yinlin's value isn't necessarily as great due to the fact that Xiangli Yao, if you want to, you can run tons of quick swap team compositions with him, as well as Yang provides particles and kind of, builds up his Resonance Liberation a lot faster. So she's not necessarily needed, and there's way better options to use for Jinshi, which we'll get to in a moment, right? So overall, while Yinlin isn't the worst character in the world, she's not the greatest. And yeah, with that being said, her weapon's busted, but that's a spoiler. Jiyan, ignore my account. My account's not built. Jiyan right now is a main DPS, and he's not only amazing in single target, but he's amazing in AoE. So if you are looking for a character to clear both Weewa and TOA, Jiyan could absolutely be a very solid pick. Granted, he is a 1.0 unit. There really hasn't been massive power creep in this game, but I'm just giving you that information as you know how gacha games work. But the way it stands right now, Jiyan is very solid. And I'm going to pull this list up again if you want to pause it. Jiyan is going to work with Mortefi, which would be his sub DPS. That is going to give him heavy attack damage bonus from Mortefi's outro, because if you look at Jiyan's kit, it's all heavy attacks. It's all heavy attack damage bonuses. He needs heavy attack, right? So Mortefi is going to be his best in-slot support. Realistically, I'm not going to lie to you. If you don't have Mortefi, don't even get Jiyan. Like, you could use Alto, which I'll get to in a moment, but Mortefi's perfect. A 38% heavy damage attack amplification for 14 seconds, which is just enough for his burst. So Mortefi is a non-negotiable. You need Mortefi. Verena obviously is goated. Verena slash Shorekeeper. Verena has the fastest concerto energy in the game, pretty much. She has great heals, and her inherent skill is going to allow you to live at 1% HP if you get a bad, if you're about to die or something. So this was the OG team day one, but you can run Shorekeeper, which a lot of people do, because Shorekeeper's Glue Stellar Rim is going to give you 12.5% crit rate and 24 or 25% crit damage. So when you're looking at Jiyan, his pull value is still relatively strong. I'm going to be very honest with you. That AoE comes in a lot. It does help a little bit in TOA, but that we will help, it's massive. So keep that in mind. Now, with Jiyan, you can technically use Alto. I put a LOL here because I don't think it's something that most people are going to do. Can you use Alto with Alto's outro? Yeah, absolutely. Alto's outro right here is going to be, bro's still probably level 1. He's level 6. That was a waste of mats. Aerial damage amplification by 23%. So I don't think this is necessarily worth it, but hey, if you want to run Alto, you can. Arrow Rover is a little interesting because Arrow Rover can't necessarily work with him at the moment, but maybe when we get more stacks of this weapon to make it R5 and a bit more characters, this might be a good mono team. But at the moment, Arrow Rover's kind of, you can kind of make it work, but Shorekeeper and Verena are substantially better. So Jiyan, really solid pull. Zhezhi is a little interesting. So the thing with Zhezhi is she is technically an S tier character at the moment because she supports the two best DPSs in the game. She supports Jinshi and Carlotta. That's it. Now, she gets the most value with Carlotta because her outro skill is giving you Glacio damage amplification and resonance skill damage amplification, which is what Carlotta scales with. Jinshi scales with resonance skill damage as well, but she's not getting that Glacio buff. However, as you can see with her burst, she gives a ton of coordinated attacks to build up that Jinshi incandescence. So realistically, if you are missing the link for Jinshi or Carlotta, this is a solid pull. Now, again, mainly I would say Carlotta. I think if you really want it for Carlotta, then go for it. But not the worst pull in the world, especially because, again, realistically, it supports the two best units in the game. But if you're not using either one of them, if you feel like you don't need it, I say it's fine to kind of skip. Changli Yao, the free character we got at 1.2. Xiangli Yao is honestly amazing and provides for tons of fun gameplay. So if I pull this document back up, we see Xiangli Yao right here. Yinlin, which we've kind of already covered. Xiangli Yao is going to get that buff from Yinlin's Resonance Liberation and the Electro. Quick swap with Changli. Quick swapping with Changli is a lot of fun. You can even quick swap with Carlotta as well, but, if you want to play a hyper carry, Yang and Yinlin are great. If you want to have some fun and do some stupid stuff, there's literally pretty much no synergy between Changli's outro and Xiangli Yao, right? Oh my god, no, I lied to you. Resonance Liberation damage amplified by 25%. Sorry, I'm a silly goofy goober. But the thing is, when you do quick swap, you don't really keep that on there, but you're not going to get the fusion buff. Xiangli Yao is a solid unit, really, really good, but you got a massive buff from having his weapon. If you have an R5 Stenard, it's not necessarily bad, but he's really easy to play. And again, when you have a free-to-play option like Yang, where most of his damage is coming from Resonance Liberation, and he's easy to use, and Yang gives you a fuck ton of particles, pretty much, if you're a Genshin Impact player. It gives you enough resonance energy to get your burst pretty consistently. It's a solid unit. If you want to get a little bit more technical, this is also another great unit for you, because again, you can enable the quick swapping with a Changli. You can do it with a couple of other people. So Xiangli Yao, pretty fucking solid. And we go to Phoebe. So Phoebe is interesting. Now, Phoebe, if you want to play Zanny, most likely the best in slot is going to be Phoebe in sub-DPS role. Keep that in mind. This is most likely tinfoil hat theory. But in the current meta, Phoebe's only placement is to be a main DPS. So we're focusing on the main DPS aspects of Phoebe. And Phoebe as a main DPS is amazing. The reason why Phoebe is amazing as a main DPS, we'll go to synergies in a moment, is because the one thing with her artifact set right here, if you look, is that you are getting an extra 20% crit rate once you apply Spectral Frazzle, and you get Spectral Rover for free. So you'll always have Spectral Frazzle applied. So off rip, you're getting a free 20% crit rate. And then if you have your String Master, obviously that would help crit rate even more. Let's say if you had your Zhezhi weapon, you could use crit damage or whatever the case may be, but you're getting free substats in combination of using your Shorekeeper, and her best in slot Spectral Rover is completely free. Phoebe is a unit that is free to play friendly. Now, granted, obviously, Phoebe ain't going to do as well, like, let's say, using the Abyss Surges as, like, a String Master or something, but she's going to be just fine. So, the rest of the synergies, it goes Phoebe, so obviously Zany's on the side, Spectral Rover you get for free, Shorekeeper Verena are honestly kind of interchangeable in most cases. Chiakona, possibly. Chiakona does apply Spectral Frazzle, but her outro seems like it's only going to really be buffing Arrow, and Mortefi because Phoebe's main damage comes from heavy attacks. Again, the main team with Phoebe is Shorekeeper, Spectral Rover, and herself, Phoebe. But you could use a Mortefi instead if you wanted to, like to replace like Verena or Shorekeeper and that. But you need that Spectral Frazzle from Rover. So again, really solid unit, and obviously I don't think they're gonna get power crept in any way. They're also gonna have sub DPS capabilities, so that's really good. So in phase 1, again, completely account dependent. But if you're just looking at characters, your best bet to me is probably going to be either Phoebe, but she's mainly single target. So if you're looking for Weewa, you go Jiyan. If you're looking for overall play, I think it's either Phoebe, Xiangli Yao, or Jiyan. You can't really go wrong with those three. I'm just going to be honest with you. Now, if we move down to the second phase. So the second phase has Jinshi, Changli, Carlotta, Roccia, Brant. This one I think is a little bit more clear-cut and dry. So Jinshi's the main DPS, Changli's a sub, Carlotta's the main DPS, two of the best main DPS in the game, Roccia is a sub, and Brant is a fucking monster. Brant is a monster truck. So starting with Jinshi before, as we spoke in a little bit, Jinshi has a really great free-to-play team in which, as you guys know, with Jinshi, you need coordinated attacks to build up your Forte circuit. If you do not have coordinated attacks, you will be doing no fucking damage. Just that's it. You'll be doing no fucking damage. So she needs someone with coordinated strikes. Thankfully, you get a Yuan Wu for free just by completing part of the Abyss. Even if it's C0, he still works. And for newer players, you are getting a selector in 2.4. So you could select Verena, and Verena provides coordinated attacks as well, but she also has great healing. So off rip, this is an amazing free-to-play team, and you can't go wrong with that. Now, if you want to dive in a little bit deeper, we get into more, team compositions. That's when you get a Yinlin who can use her Forte circuit. Zhezhi and Cantarella are both one and the same, where, as I showed you, Zhezhi's outro is going to give you that resonant skill, but so is Cantarella's. Now, Cantarella's outro is going to give you a Havoc buff, so you're not necessarily getting the full buff from this, but you're still getting that resonant skill damage and coordinated strikes from her burst. So keep that in mind. These would be the most synergistic characters. I'm just going to tell you right now, Jinshi's one of the best characters in the game. She's amazing. She's easy to play, easy to build. She's a GOAT. She's absolutely the GOAT. Changli. Oh, oiled up St. Tontash. Changli's a little bit of a interesting situation because with Changli, if you like quick swap, Changli is the way to go. She's so much fun. She could work with Brant in a hyper carry situation / quick swap. She could work with Xiangli Yao in quick swap, Jinshi in quick swap, and Carlotta with quick swap. The thing about Changli is she really isn't the best as a main DPS. Like, you could technically run, let's say, a Shorekeeper and Sanhua to get your Concerto energy in the Gold Clear Stellar Rim as fast as possible, but that's not really the way you want to use her. She wants to get in, do big bursty damage, and get the fuck out as quick as possible. So if you're just looking for hyper carry and you don't have Brant, or you don't plan on pulling Brant, it's not worth it. What Brant's outro is doing is giving a resonant skill buff and a fusion buff, right? So they match up perfectly. With that being said, if you don't like quick swap, not even worth your time. Don't even look at them. However, if we're including Weewa, she's pretty fucking solid in Weewa. She's not bad in Weewa. That is the exception. If you want a character that is going to be decent in Weewa, or let me rephrase that, good in Weewa and decent and all around, still solid. So, but again, if you don't care about Weewa, fuck it, whatever. So that's pretty much Changli, man. Changli's kind of there. Carlotta is an amazing DPS, an S0 DPS. She's pretty much the best character in the game, and she has her best in slot unit, and she fucking freezes people. Carlotta's busted. The great thing with Carlotta as well is you have an amazing base free-to-play team with a free-to-play weapon, and then you also have the cracked pay-to-win team, right? So you do get Static Mist for free in the game, which is a great weapon, increases energy regen by 12.8%, and increase the Resonator's attack. So you get Static Mist, you then get your Verena, and Yang Yang. Carlotta's main damage source comes from Resonance skill damage, but she needs her Resonance Liberation up. Her Resonance Liberation gives her 5 massive shots, and so when you use Yang Yang, as I've said multiple times in this video, Yang Yang's outro is going to give you those Genshin Impact particles. Restore 4 resonance energy per 5 seconds. So Carlotta with Static Mist and Yang Yang is still a very solid team. It is noticeably different than the Zhezhi with her best in slot weapon, but that's to be expected, right? So I'm going to tell you, Carlotta is probably going to be the highest value, just out of all of these characters. I'm giving you a spoiler. But so Carlotta is super solid. And then obviously you have her Zhezhi. This is going to be her best in slot here because of the resonance skill damage amplification as well as the glacial damage amplification. Really good character. Pay to win friendly, but free to win friendly as well. And obviously Shorekeeper, Verena, and Changli if you are running quick swaps. So Carlotta's the GOAT. Roccia is a little interesting. So my thing is this. Roccia is a sub DPS that has massive AoE capabilities, but you got to keep a few things in mind when you're building Roccia. Roccia, in order to get everything out of her kit, requires you to have 70% crit rate. So you need to have 70% crit rate to get the full buff from her Resonance Liberation. So 70% crit rate is hard to get if you do not have a Stenard, if you do not have a Verity's Handle or her weapon. It's possible to get it, but it's more complicated. She also really is mainly just for AoE. She is amazing in Wiwa, and she's not necessarily bad in the other teams, which I'll get to in a moment, but keep this in mind. She is resource intensive, okay? Now, pretty much, she is a heavy attack, and again, you need that 70% crit rate. Her outro is making her synergize with Camilla and Havoc Rover. So she's going to give you the Havoc damage amplification and a basic attack damage amplification. So when you look at the teams, it works perfectly for both of them. Rocia's Havoc Rover Camilla. Camilla's basic attack. Rover does basic attacks as well. But if you don't have Camilla, I don't think it's worth rolling for. And you're not a Havoc Rover main, or you don't plan on making your Havoc Rover busted, I don't think it's worth pulling for. I don't think it's needed. I think it's fine. You can complete Wiwa without Roccia. You do get Yang Yang for free, who has CC capabilities. It's not as good, but it's still there. So Roccia, I think, is a skip. And finally, Brant, the character that everybody wanted to cancel me for. Brant. Brant is interesting. So the thing with Brant is he is more resource intensive than Roccia, right? So Brant has 2 main artifact sets. Brant could either run the Tide Breaking set, but if you're running Tide Breaking, you need at least 250 ER, which is pretty hard to reach if you're not running either Overture or his signature. So keep that in mind. If you want to even make this artifact set work, you need 250 ER in order to get the second portion of proc. Reaching 250% ER increases all attribute damage by 30%. So keep that in mind. However, you can run Molten Rift and just kind of build him on a normal build here, and he's still 1000% viable. But if you want to run him in the Tide Breaking Courage spot, you need that ER. Okay, we've kind of established that. But with that being said, Brant is fucking amazing. He dishes out massive nukes. He does tons of damage, and he could work as a DPS, a sub DPS. He's a healer. He's a shielder. He's a quick swap unit. If you're willing to put in that time, he's great. So Brant's teams with Changli as a hyper carry can work with Carlotta and Jinshi because he does give that resonance skill damage amplification right there of 25%. Sanhua, if you're running him as a main DPS, because he goes with normal attacks and Sanhua gives normal. And obviously Verena / Shorekeeper, Shorekeeper being the GOAT, increasing crit rate, crit damage. That's pretty much like the basis TLDR of all of these characters. The fastest razor language way I could break this down to you. If I had to sit here and tell you what would be the best bang for your buck overall, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's Carlotta. I think it's Carlotta because she has Static Mist, and you could even get Zhezhi and still run that Static Mist. After Carlotta, I'd probably go Jinshi. And after Jinshi, it's a toss-up with Phoebe. Probably Phoebe, maybe. Yeah, Phoebe or Jiyan. But, again, completely account-dependent. 5 p.m. Eastern Monday, I will be online helping out people decide who they want to pull for. I hope this video helps, and I have another video coming out about the weapons. With that being said, I love you. I'll see you in the next one.